अथ ध्यानम् ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी स्तोतीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरननदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथः सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यां तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
धन्यवादः सुवान्। ओम श्री कृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अथ प्रथमोऽध्यायः अर्जुन विषाद योगः। धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय। मंजरी भगिनी कृपया स्वीकरोतु।
Bhagini, 2.62 and 63, can you chant? Or
Prabhakant has come.
Prabhakant Mahodaya.
धन्यवाद।
अस्तु
Dhanyawad. Mahodaya, please, can you chant second chapter 62 and 63?
अस्तु महोदय। ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरमात्मने नमः। ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषूपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति।
Dhanyawad, Mahodaya. So, welcome all for English Bhagavad Gita classes. So last week we have seen that in 61st shloka, Krishna told that Tani sarvani sanyamya yukta asita matparaha Vashehi yasya indriyani tasya prajna pratisthita. So, if we want our intelligence to be fixed or our mind to be fixed, what we should do? Sarvani sanyamya. So, we should have perfect control over all our sense organs, and then yukta asita matparaha, fix our mind in Bhagavan. So, if that is done, if we are able to have perfect control over our senses, and if we are able to fix our mind in Bhagavan, then we can have inner peace. That's what Krishna says. And in today's shlokas, he says, if we are not able to control our senses, what happens to us? So that's what he is telling in the next shlokas. Uh, Bhagini, screen is very short and some other things seen. Is it okay for others? Uh, yeah, if it is possible, please. Yeah, yeah, astu. So, ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः संगः तेषु उपजायते ध्यायतः विषयान् पुंसः संगः तेषु उपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति is the sandhi vichedana of these two shlokas. So dhyayato vishayan pumsaha, pumsaha means man or a person, dhyayataha vishayan, one who is uh, vishayan means materialistic things, materialistic pleasures, and one who is repeatedly thinking about this materialistic pleasures, then what happens? Teshu sangaha upajayate. So he develops some attachment with those materialistic pleasures. Then next what happens? Sangat, sanjayate. With that sangha, with that attachment, Kamaha jayate, kama, desire is born. Then kamat, with that kama, krodha abhijayate, krodha, anger is born. So he's giving some sequence. So what happens by repeatedly thinking about the materialistic pleasures? What is born? The attachment is born. And with the attachment, kamaha is born, the desire is born. And with kama, krodha is born. What happens next? Krodhat bhavati sammohaha. With krodha, delusion, some brahma happens. And then sammohat, with that delusion, smriti vibhramaha, that is loss of memory. So smriti vibhramaha. And with that smriti vibhrama, what happens? Buddhi nashaha, loss of intelligence. Smriti vibhramaha is loss of memory. Buddhi nasha is loss of intelligence only. And with loss of intelligence, pranashyati, the person himself gets destroyed. So that is dhyayate vishayan. So just by mere thought of sense objects, what happens? An attachment towards them is generated. Sangasteshu upajayate. And then sangat, from that attachment, a longing to enjoy is born. That is kamaha. And kamaha, if it is not fulfilled, then what happens? Unfulfilled longing generates anger. Kamat krodhobi jayate. Then krodhat bhavati sammohaha. So from anger comes delusion, and delusion causes loss of memory. And from loss of memory, what happens? The extinction of intelligence, and subsequently, due to the drain of reason, a man perishes. That is the meaning of these two shlokas. We'll see in detail, we'll discuss in detail. So, in these two shlokas, Bhagavan is explaining how a person slips, how a person falls down in his life. So, climbing towards God, climbing towards a good thing, that takes us, that should be achieved step by step. It takes so many years for us to do some sadhana to achieve something. And but falling down, it can happen at once, just in a moment. If we take wrong decision, if our mind becomes weak, then everything goes, and then we just fall down from the peak of a mountain, just we are dropped down. But to climb that height, to reach that peak, it is just inch by inch we have done. But within few seconds, if the mind takes wrong decision, we have seen last week about Vishwamitra, how he was wasting his power of austerities in just some small things. So that's why Krishna is telling here that just mere thinking about some materialistic things, when a person starts, he thinks that okay, I am not doing wrong thing, but that thought is coming. Nothing wrong in just thinking about it. I'm not doing it. I'm not performing any wrong action, but wrong thought is coming. It's okay. He just nourishes that. He doesn't know the consequences, what happens later. That's why he keeps doing that. Uh, so I can give you an example for these two shlokas of my childhood. I had a classmate when I was in PUC. There was a boy. He was from a middle class family, lower middle class family, I can say, but a very good family, very affectionate and loving family. His parents, his grandparents, he lived with his parents, grandparents, and two sisters. His father was working in post office. That too, his income was very low only, and he used to distribute newspapers in the morning. Also, he had a bicycle, and he used to move in hot sun, rain, and everything just to ensure that his children get good education. Especially, this was a boy, so both parents, mother and father, loved him so much. They saved money from many years for this boy's education. So when he was in PUC, so he started moving with some boys, those who had bikes. In those days, having bikes was very rare. In the entire class of 100 people or more than 100 people, only few, three, four boys had, they were coming in a bike or some two wheelers. And this boy, somehow, he developed some interest in those two wheelers, and he started moving with those people. He always used to talk about this bike and two wheelers, and he always used to get one ride on those bikes with his friends. And always that thought used to be there in his mind. He used to cut all those newspaper ads, and then he made the posters, and he used to stick on his walls. And when he was asked, mother used to ask why all these things, because mother knew very well that they cannot afford all those things. And he used to say that no, just it's interest. He used to say that yes, I know that we cannot afford, but then also nothing harm in just knowing those things. So he used to collect information about that. He used to watch in TV also only those ads, and started cutting those posters, and just repeatedly dhayato vishayan. So repeatedly he was thinking about that. And then finally what happened, there was some attachment means everywhere, wherever he goes, whenever he sits, walks, talks, every time whatever we talk, the talk used to come to that bike only. So it was like that, it developed like that. And then kama, so finally one day he thought that he should have it, because repeatedly he's thinking about that only, no. And why my friends are having, why I should not have it? So one day his birthday was there. His father brought him new clothes, and accidentally he told that he has uh, saved some money for his education. So he said, "See, this is your second PUC, so you have to put some effort and do some hard work so that we are ready to send you for medical or engineering. So we want to see you as a doctor or an engineer. So don't worry about the money. So we have saved money for you." The moment he heard money is there with his father, then he thought that I must buy bike out of it, some two wheeler bike. So then he started demanding that, and he said, "Really, if you love me, if you both love me, then you should give me some money to purchase bike, because I'll be very happy if I have a bike. And you say that you want to see me happy, so you must give me money. But parents were very reluctant, because it was impossible for them, because another two girls were also there, and old parents were also there, they had to look after parents also. But this boy became so stubborn. That's what it says, that kamat krodho vijayati. If that kama is not fulfilled, then a person gets anger. So then, Krodha, because now, after reading Gita, I am able to relate these slokas to that incident. So he got some delusion. That is, he lost the capacity to think what is right, what is wrong. That is called as sammoha delusion. He was not able to take good decision at all. And then with that delusion, Smriti Vibhramaha, loss of memory, he forgot everything. He forgot how much his father loved him. How always he used to make it a point to buy new clothes for him, and he used to send him for picnic always, how much ever expensive the picnics may be, buy sweets for him, and take him to good hotels or picnics or circus or whatever in his within his limits. He used to cross his limits and see that his son becomes happy. But now at this point, Smriti Vibhramaha, he forgot everything, because his mind was fixed only in that bike, and parents are not ready to get that for him, so parents are bad. Only that thought was there. He forgot everything in the past, what happened, how much his mother loved, how much his grandparents loved him, how much his sisters loved him. Nothing came to his mind. In his mind, only that bike was there, and parents are denying that. Only that was there. So then what happens? Smriti Bhrausha Buddhi Nashaha. So there was total loss of intelligence, and then he decided to run away from the home. And one day he ran away from the home, taking some valuables from the home. And he ran away, and nobody knew where he was. And after a few years, he was found in Mumbai in some hotel as a waiter, so just cleaning the table and serving the people. And he was so egoistic, even if he was called home, he didn't come home. He was there for many more years. And then when he came back, he was not in a position to continue his studies also. His education, it was just 10th standard he had finished. Even though in poverty his sisters had done some become BSc, and they managed to get some good jobs in LIC and all those things. But this person, he was able to do 10th standard. And it is said, I have heard that even today he is in the railway station, he's doing some porter job, and he's struggling with the life. He's struggling with the life. So it is because of wrong decision taken. So what happens? First, dhyato vishayan. When the wrong thoughts come in the mind, at that time only the seed itself should be killed. In that stage only it should be killed. If it is nourished, if it is nurtured, and then when it becomes a plant, it becomes a big tree, then it is impossible to uproot that. That's why. So usually what a person thinks is nothing wrong in thinking. So all the criminals, all the crime things, like it may be robbery or murder or rape or whatever, all these things are result of wrong thinking. It will not happen suddenly. No one can kill a person with a gun at once. It's not possible. If that thought is not there, then they cannot do. If a gun is given to us or you people, even if we hate a person, then also we cannot use that gun, because we don't know how to use it, because we have never ever thought that thought has never come to our mind. So we cannot kill anyone, we cannot rob anyone, we cannot rape anyone, because that thought has never come to us. But when the thought comes, if it is not killed, then it what happens? If that thought is not killed, it repeats. The person starts the his thought starts lingering about that thought, and then he develops some attachment, and then that attachment turns into desire, that is kama. It can be any wrong thing, any materialistic pleasures, sensual pleasures. So it can be anything. So if we know that it is wrong, then it should be killed when it is in the seed stage. So that should be done. We shouldn't allow that seed to germinate at all. That's why we say that for children we should not show the violence or this crime, these documentaries or movies. So it's very wrong to show them, and we also shouldn't see, because we will lose our peace of mind. And children should never see that, because it is so natural for a person that whatever we see, the mind keeps lingering around those thoughts. So we keep repeatedly thinking about those things. So if we get to hear Bhagavad Gita, then even after the class, naturally a person starts thinking about that. If we get to see a movie, then after that also we start thinking about the characters of the movie. In the same way, if wrong things, the criminals or violent things or killing or murder, such things are shown to students or children, then the same thing happens. We have seen, we have heard in newspaper in America how a child of 14 year kills all his classmates using a gun, and all those things we have heard. It is because of watching the wrong things and then thinking that is the wrong thoughts, nurturing or nourishing the wrong thoughts in the brain. That is the root cause of all the crime things that are happening in this world. So any wrong thing, it may be crime or it may be normal wrong thing that we people do, but it should be killed when it is in the stage of seed. So that time only, if it is killed, then uh, if we don't allow it to grow, then no danger can happen to us. So we should not think that it's okay, I can think wrong things in my mind, I can have some wrong thoughts in my mind, because nobody knows, and I'm not doing it, I'm just thinking about it. That itself is wrong. That thinking, slowly it comes into action one day. That's why always we should be very careful. And also, what happens, anger comes. And anger, we know that such a dangerous emotion it is. So anger, it destroys. Suppose if I am angry, it destroys me also, and it increases my BP also, and it increases the BP on whom I shout also. So such a dangerous and horrible emotion is anger. So when a person gets anger, then he should go back in the reverse order. That is krodha. How krodha comes? If there is kama. How kama comes? With sangha, that's attachment. So attachment comes, that is by repeated thinking of the wrong things. So repeatedly having wrong thoughts in the brain is the root cause for krodha. So when krodha comes, we should trace back and then go to the root cause and eradicate that root cause. So that will help us to stay away from krodha. That's what Krishna is telling here. Mahodaya, agre patatu.
अस्तु महोदय। रागद्वेषवियुक्तैस्तु विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवश्यैर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादमधिगच्छति।
हाँ, धन्यवाद महोदय। रागद्वेष वियुक्तैः तु विषयान् इन्द्रियैः चरन् आत्मवशैः विधेयात्मा प्रसादम् अधिगच्छति. So ragadvesha viyuktaiः nantaram atmavashaiः indriyaiः. So the indriyas, the sense organs that are free from raga and dvesha, atmavashaihi, that are under our control, and then those indriyas, indriyaihi, by those indriyas, Vishayan Charan. So, if a person is free from raga and dvesha, if a person has perfect control over his senses, then even if he is uh, enjoying the outside Vishayan, outside materialistic objects, then also prasadam adhigacchati vidheyatma, because his senses are under his control, because he is free from raga and dvesha. So even if he is enjoying the materialistic things, but he will be having inner peace, because he's not doing any wrong thing. So his senses are under control, and he is free from raga and dvesha. So even if he is among these materialistic things, then also he will have inner peace. So we will see the details of it. Raga, dvesha. So he says one should be free from these two. So these two things are the most horrible things or most disturbing things that spoil our mental health. So one may agree that dvesha is the thing that really troubles us, pains us. And how come raga can trouble us? How come raga can be dangerous emotion? So we'll see that also. So raga means too much of attachment. So if we like someone or something, so then what happens? Our mind always goes towards them or towards that. So that person may not be near us, but then also the mind repeatedly thinks about that person. And if that person moves far away, suppose if that person is in another country, then also this raga will not become less. It just becomes more. It becomes elongated like rubber. So it keeps expanding. We can say that sometimes this rubber may cut if it is further stretched, but this raga is not like that. It keeps expanding. And then what happens? uh, it keeps expanding. But why Krishna is telling that this too much of raga is dangerous? So we can take some example for that. I can tell you the raga or the attachment or the love of a parent. So for example, if a mother, if she loves her children, if she loves, if she cares, if she shows affection, it's okay. But if it becomes too much, then she develops some possessiveness. So what happens with that possessiveness? That expectation starts. So she starts thinking that I have dedicated entire my life for sake of my son. I have sacrificed my career. I have spent so many sleepless nights to bring him up. So in my life, my son was the priority for me. So for him also, I must be the priority. So every decision that he makes, it should be according to my wish. He should ask in each and every step what he does. So if she starts thinking like that, and then it is not possible. So for a grown up son, so he also needs some space, he also needs some freedom, and it becomes so difficult. And a parent should remember that it is the nature, it is so natural that the river, like how the river always flows forward, the flood always flows forward, in the same way the love also, that is, we love our children the most, our children love their children the most, and their children love their children the most. So it never comes backward. So we must understand that children can take care of their parents, they can be concerned with their parents, but they cannot always stay with their parents. So that is the truth of life, and parents should accept that. And if we accept that, if we are not possessive about that, then we can have peace of mind. So this is a small example that I'm giving, where too much of love can also pain us, hurt us. And this is very common experience nowadays, people are experiencing. That's why I have taken this. So it can be between any relationship. It's not only parents and children. It can be between spouses. If the attachment is too much, if the expectations are too much, possessiveness is too much, then definitely that causes some dispute. So any relationship, it may be between two friends, it may be between spouses, it may be between children and parents, or it may be in sisters, or any relationship, if it crosses, it goes beyond, then it is called as raga. Love is just a positive term, but raga is not. Raga is something where we start expecting, so then it damages the relationship. That's why raga gives a lot of pain. Love will not give pain, because in love there is no expectation, but in raga there is expectation. So it's very painful if a person starts expecting. That's why Krishna says that be free from raga. Raga dvesha viyuktaihi viyuktaha, be free from raga and dvesha. So and then next emotion is dvesha. So these are the two things which are always troubling us. So with this raga, at least for few minutes we might have enjoyed, but this dvesha is not like, it is sharper than this raga, because every moment we suffer. When we have dvesha, when we have hatredness, every moment is painful. But then also what we do, suppose we hate something or someone, then always 24/7 we will be cursing that people, we'll be thinking only about that person. So what we do is we always think about him. So we unknowingly, without our knowledge, we give him a simhasana in our heart, because wherever we go, even if you go to temple, even if you go to foreign country, so wherever we go, that person will be there with us, because we keep thinking that day he shouted like that at me. I didn't do anything. I did so much to him, but then also he did like this, he did like this. So if we are not able to forget that, if that hatredness is there in our heart, so we are giving him the agrasthana in our heart, the simhasana in our heart without our knowledge. So we will be doing his dhyana more than God's dhyana. So we will be giving a important place to him in our heart, which we have not even given to our God or to our loved ones. So the person whom we hate takes the most part of our life than our loved ones and than the God himself. So that's why this is very painful. If we are not able to forget a person who has troubled us, then the life becomes horrible. That's why Krishna says raga, dvesha, both the things we should leave. We should become free from raga and dvesha. Only then we can have happiness in life. That's what he's telling. And then what happens? Atmavashaihi. Atmavasha is to have control over our senses. And then now, after leaving these two, raga and dvesha, and after having perfect control over senses, then even if you are in this world, materialistic world, even if you are taking how much ever is needed from these sensual things, then also you can be happy. It is because even if he is a sthita prajna, he has to uh, nourish his body, deha poshana he has to do. He also should eat, he also should talk, see, he should wear good clothes, he should go to office, he should do his duty, he should maintain his family. So everything he must do whatever common people do, because he has to do deha poshana, he has to live here till the last breath. So he has to do something. So he should go to office, so he will make friends, so he will go to friends house, he will go to birthdays. So he will also do whatever common man does. Then one may feel that what's the difference between Sthitaprajna and a common man? So the difference is Sthitaprajna does everything, but he is not the slave of the Indriyas. He is the master of the Indriyas. He is the Malik of the Indriyas. So he is using all the sense organs and the Karmendriya and Jnanendriya that we use, but he is the master. But a common man is a slave of these Indriyas. Common man, he is not having the control over his senses. So whatever the indriya says, he keeps doing that. Suppose uh, we decide to study this Bhagavad Gita for 1 hour today. So then what happens? The Sita Prajna, he just sits and he completes the work. But a common man, for him, there may be so many disturbances when he is sitting in front of a book. So that is the difference between Sthita Prajna and common man. For the common man, suppose there are two colleagues working in the same office, doing the same job under the same boss. And one day the boss comes and shouts at these two people, these two officers, without any reason. Boss's mind is disturbed for some reason. Maybe his boss shouted at him. Nobody knows the reason, but boss suddenly comes and starts shouting on these two officers. So, because he is a boss, these people cannot do anything. So, once they leave the office after come home, the Sthita Prajna starts thinking, what I have done. Have I done any mistake? Why the boss shouted at me? And suppose he has not done any mistake, then he is very cool. He never thinks about it. He just forgets and forgives, because he thinks that okay, it was his problem. There may be something in the higher level which I don't know. So I should not react, respond, and I should not feel bad also. So he eats food, he enjoys with his family, with his children, and he sleeps. He gets nice sleep. But another person, after going home, he starts thinking, he's so troubled, he's so disturbed. He starts thinking, what I have done, I have not done anything. Why he shouted at me? Why he should have shouted at me? Why I have not done anything? And that person, he couldn't eat properly, he couldn't sleep also. And 1 week, 2 weeks, he keeps thinking that that day he shouted like that. I didn't do anything. He starts cursing his boss also, cursing his luck also. What is this? I have not done anything. He's spoiling his health. So this is where the difference between common man and Sthaprajna. So outside they both will be same. There will be no change at all. Both of them will laugh. Both of them will make jokes. Both of them will go to office. Both of them will wear similar clothes. Both of them have more or less same family and everything. Then where is the difference between Sthitaprajna and common man? When it comes to the inward journey, inward, inside, Sthitaprajna is happy always. The same boss shouted on both the people, both the person. Sthitaprajna, he forgot it at that day only, but the other person is not able to forget it. He is carrying that wherever he goes. He thinks that I'll take 2 day leave. I'm not able to work. I'll go to some temple and I'll sit there. But in temple also, when he's in front of God also, he is thinking of his boss only. So this is what happens to a common man. But for Sthita Prajna, when it goes to inward, so then there is a difference. Sthita Prajna may not be knowing that he is Sthita Prajna. This is nature. So he does that. So there is the benefit. So to see from outside, Sthita Prajna and common man are, there is no difference. But the way they think and the way they live their life, there is a difference. One who is calm, peaceful, composed from inside is Sthitaprajna. How he reacts, how he responds to the same similar situations. There is the difference between those two people. Mahodaya, agre pathatu.
अस्तु महोदय। प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते।
Astu. So, in the last shloka, Krishna told that if when you are free from raga and dvesha, then you are able to have perfect control over your senses, then you will have prasada, that is happiness. You will have inner happiness. So, once we have that happiness, what happens? Next, what? It says the next shloka. Prasade sarva dukkhanam हानिः अस्य उपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसः हि आशु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते prasade. So one, when he attains that prasada, that state of happiness, then what happens? Asya sarva dukkhanam hanihi upajayate. So there is total destruction of all the hani, the uh, dukkha. So there is destruction of all the sorrow that he has. So what else is needed? That's only needed, no? So prasanna chetasaha, he becomes prasanna chetasaha, very happy mind. Then his mind becomes fixed. Paryavatishthate, his mind become fixed. So once the mind is fixed, so whatever that person does, he does it in an efficient way. The mind is fixed. धन्यवाद भगिनी. So when there is destruction of all the dukkha, then what happens? There will be no complaints about anybody. There will be no complaints about anything. So the heart becomes so pure that we don't have complaints about anything. So it is because all the sorrow, the pain, everything that we're experiencing is the cause is from outside. So whatever some incidents happen outside, so if we take those things in, then we get sorrow or depression or distress or whatever. So why we become unhappy? It is because of some things that are going around us. That's the reason why we feel sad. But we are not able to stop these things at all. Nothing can go according to my wish. The whole entire world or the world around me cannot go according to my wish. It is impossible. So, what Jnani does, what Chittaprajna does, he just changes his perception. He never goes to change his world. He cannot. Suppose there is a person goes for trekking. So, trekking is just moving in a hilly, rocky, and thorny road. The path will be like that only. So, no one can clean that path. No one can just clean all those thorns and rocks and all those things. No one can do what a trekker, the mountaineer or one who goes for trekking, what that person does. He wears a strong shoes so that those thorns will not hurt him. In the same way, the jnani or the sitaprajna, what he does, he never tries to change the world. He never tries to improve everybody around him. It's not possible. The world is like that. World is every moment, every second they are throwing some critics or comments or some unwanted blame. They are throwing around us. It's always on us. They are doing that. But what this Chittaprajna does, he is wearing some safety shoes. That is, he will not take those things in at all. He will not receive those things. So when doing Chittaprajna shlokas also, we have seen that we like how for the Ganesha idols there is a Prabhavali, so we should have one Prabhavali around us, so that all these critics, comments, insults, humiliations that come from morning till evening to us, so if they're not received, so if we have one Prabhavali, if they strike that Prabhavali and then if they go back, then they will go to the sender's address. So we are not affected at all. That's what Sitaprajna does. So he always makes a safe Prabhavali around him, and he will not receive, he will not accept those critics or comments or any unwanted things that happen around him. So unwanted things keep happening around us every day. So if we don't receive them, if we don't take them, if we train our mind not to take them, then the mind becomes pure and clean. That is called as Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi, that is pure heart, making our heart very pure. So how it can be done? Suppose I'm wearing a new sari or new dress, and I'm going on a road, a main road, and suppose if previous day it has rained and there is mud around me, and a lorry, it's a highway or a big road, a lorry comes with great speed and then it splashes that mud on my sari. So what do I do? I don't know who was that lorry driver. It went, and what do I do? As soon as possible I go home and I'll try to wash that stains, whatever is there, no, in the under the running water. I'll use some stain remover. I may apply some nimbu or whatever, but I'll see that my sari becomes clean as early as it was, because the sari I like it very much. So I'll make sure that it is cleaned on the spot, or as early as possible it is cleaned. Sari or dress, we may wear it for 4 5 years, but we take so much of care for it. Our heart, our mind, which is born with us and which is there till we are here, why don't we take care of it? There are so many sludges or mud or whatever that comes, the dust particles that come and strike our heart every day. But we should clean it like how we clean our sari. So on everyday basis there is a need, like how we clean our houses, we sweep, we mop, isn't it? So in the same way we have to clean our heart also, we have to clean our mind also on daily basis. How? We should forget and forgive. So there are people, though unnecessarily they may be doing some criticism, commenting unnecessarily, they may be hurting us, they may be paining us, but there is no point in remembering all those things, keeping those things in mind. Our heart becomes impure. So if some person has really hurt me, if some person has really troubled me, but then also I should forget and forgive. It's not that that person deserves forgiveness. My heart deserves cleanliness. That for that reason I should forget and forgive. I, from the time I have come to this world, I have faced so many criticisms, so many humiliations, so many insults, so many rejections, so many failures. If I keep depositing all those things, my heart becomes a dustbin. It is no more a heart, it is no more my mind. So if it is my mind, if I have that abhimana of some affection towards my mind, I should make sure that it is cleaned every day. Even our dustbins we clean every day. So in the same way, we have to clean our heart. We should not keep any wrong thoughts or any hurting thoughts in our heart. First, hurting thoughts first we should throw away. We should try to do that. We should train our mind. Then our heart becomes pure, and that is called as chitta shuddhi. Krishna is telling about that. So if that chitta shuddhi happens, then what happens? Buddhihi paryavatishthate. Our mind becomes fixed in God. Our mind becomes fixed in our duties. So once this mind becomes fixed, whatever work that person does, he becomes more successful. That work becomes successful because he is not having raga dvesha, he is not having any expectation, and his heart is so pure. So whatever, now the mind is so fixed, so whatever he does, he becomes successful. And he also enjoys life. It's not that enjoyment is banned here. So here we have seen in 64 shloka also. So vishayan indriyaicharan. So even if he is also enjoying these things, materialistic things, because one has to do deha poshana, one has to eat, one has to wear good clothes, one has to do go to office, one has to have friends, one has to mix with the friends. So he may go to party. So that is not banned. One should not do wrong things. One should do all these things within the limit, within the the framework of righteousness. If that is done, he can enjoy life also, and he can have a fixed mind, and he can become successful. And the most important thing is he can be happy always from within. That's what Krishna is telling here. uh, Mahodaya, agre pathatu.
अस्तु महोदय। नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न च भावयतः शान्तिः अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्।
न अस्ति बुद्धिः अयुक्तस्य न च अयुक्तस्य भावना न च अभावयतः शान्तिः अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्. So Krishna is telling ayuktaha. Ayuktaha means one whose senses are not under his control. So that he is called as ayuktaha. So one who is not established in discipline is called as ayuktaha. So if a person whose senses are not under his control, so for him Krishna says no buddhi, no intellect. He is not intelligent because he is the slave of his senses. He is not the master of his sense organs. He is the slave. That's why he is not having buddhi. And also ayuktasya nacha bhavana. He is not having bhavana. Bhavana means it can be a good feeling, good emotion, and also a fixed mind. He cannot have fixed mind. And one who cannot have fixed mind, one who cannot have good feeling, for him no na shantihi, he cannot have peace of mind. And then ashantasya, one who is not having peace of mind, kutas sukham, from where he'll get sukha? He'll not get sukha. Definitely he'll not get sukha because his mind is not peaceful. There is no peace within him. So uh, again, a sequence Krishna is giving one after the other. So one who cannot control his senses, so this is very difficult, even though, but it is a must. So I have taken the example of, in the last thing, I have taken the examples of some criminals and robbers and all those things. But it's not only that, there are some things that we do which are less criminal, but then also that is harmful to the health. So indriyas always tend to do wrong things. So in the previous classes I told that indriyas are like the horses. In the Upanishad shloka only it says atmanam ratinam vidhi. So if the horses are not controlled, then they may take us anywhere. That's why it's very important to have the reins for the horses, that is controller. So what happens if they are not controlled? So they always tempt people to do wrong things, and then that is how the wrong deeds like cigarettes and alcohols and all those things happen. And not only that, we can take the example of sugar patients also. They control for so many months, but once if the mind is weak, then they start eating those things until uh, they start eating, and sometimes their diabetes, the sugar level also increases. So that's what is called as indriya nigraha. So wherever it is needed, it has to be controlled. That is, one should not become slave of the indriyas, one should become master of the indriyas. So one who has not controlled his indriyas, so what happens? All this asha, the desire, all these things, they are always in his buddhi, and his buddhi always goes to satisfy all those desires. And those desires, as you feed, they become more and more. There is no end for those desires, there is no end for that at all. So as we feed those things, those desires, so it goes on increasing, but it never decreases. So that's why we should control that. That is the only way to control that. Otherwise, if we think that we will go on giving whatever it demands, and one day it stops, no, it will not stop, it becomes more. And then bhavana, why we should have bhavana? So bhavana is a good thought, good feeling. It's like a fragrant flower, so it just gives good fragrance around. So it can be like a friendly nature, it can be compassion, or it can be love, the natural love towards all the human beings. It's not that they are our relatives, or they are our community people, or they are our language people. It's not like that. A natural love towards everyone, thinking that in everybody's heart God is there, everybody is God's creation, so I love everyone. So that is sadbhavana, a good bhavana, and that is very very essential to be happy from within. And similarly, if someone troubles, if someone uh, criticizes, then also a person who never goes to take revenge on him. So what does Sitaprajna does? He just ignores. Even if he knows, even if he understands that person is trying to hurt him, then also he just ignores, because he knows that taking revenge hurts him more than the other person. So Krishna is telling, in which heart there is no bhavana, abhava yutaha. He says no, there na shantihi. If there are no good feelings, then there cannot be shanti. If a person is feeling jealous about others, so there cannot be shanti in that person's mind. If a person is cheating someone and enjoying his life, even if we feel that he is enjoying, but there cannot be happiness from within. So he cannot get happiness at all if he is troubling others. And in the same way, if we are repeatedly thinking about someone who has hurt us, this fellow hurt me, this fellow hurt me, this, if we are not able to forget that, then also there cannot be shanti. So this shanti is such a thing that if we want to have shanti, we should give it to others. It's not that I will not give, but I can get. It is impossible. So this is the Gadha Niyama. This is a very strong rule of nature that whatever we have, only that we can give it to others. So if I want to trouble others, first I should trouble myself. If I want to shout at others, I should be disturbed from within. Only then I can shout. If I want to hurt others, I should get hurt first. Only then I can hurt others. That's why. So this is very true, and you can just think about it later. So if we are troubling others, first we are troubled. So we cannot be happy and we cannot trouble others. So if we want peace, we should give peace. So whatever we give to others, that comes in multiple folds to us. So if we give peace, we will get peace. That's why Krishna says how we will get shanti. That is when we become yuktaha, he says. So if shanti is not there, ashantasya kutas sukham. If shanti is not there, how much ever very comfortable bed we may have, or a palatial building, car, and delicious food, whatever. Even if all these things are there, if Shanti is not there, peace of mind is not there, then we cannot enjoy anything. Kutas sukham. Ashanti, if Ashanti is there, then we cannot get sukha. So if we trace back all these things, so what to do to get sukha? We should have Shanti. What to do to get Shanti? We should give Shanti. So if we give Shanti to others, then we can have Shanti. And also we should have Yukta. Yukta means having our senses under our control. So that's what Krishna has told in these shlokas. We are able to do only 5 shlokas today. Bhagini, you will do Parayana? Will do? हा
अस्तु
धन्यवाद सर्वेभ्यः मङ्गलश्लोकं वदतु नन्तरं पारायणं कुर्मः सुकन्या भगिनी I think she's
okay, me only, okay. Okay, yes, sure. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तसन्मङ्गलानि भवन्तु धन्यवादः सर्वेभ्यः भगिनी